Hi everyone, welcome to a very special PENTalk. We're going to do a demonstration of the new Pentegra online participant portal. I'm Beth Parker with Pentegra. Thanks as always for joining. While folks are still logging in, I'll go over a few housekeeping items. We'd love to answer your questions, so please submit them through the question box. We'll answer as many as we can at the end while being respectful of your schedule and ending on time. If we don't get to your question, we will follow up. On the control panel in the handout section, we've posted resources that you can distribute to your participants. Included in the resources is a link to a demonstration that may be beneficial for them to watch. Feel free to download the resources now or at any point during the webinar. Let's get started. We're so excited today to share some of the features and functionality of the new site. We hope this will give you an understanding of the portal to assist your participants should they have questions. And of course, participants are free to call and get assistance from our care center. We've listed the care center number on the resources, and it can also be found on our website at pentegra.com. Joining us today is the dynamic duo from our education team, Jose Ronquillo and Ricardo Rodriguez. You may already be familiar with them as they conduct plan education and enrollment meetings for Pentegra. Between the two of them, they have over 30 years of experience in the retirement industry. Also joining us today is Maureen Hamblin, Strategic Development Manager. Maureen is the driving force behind the new participant portal and is probably more excited than anyone to showcase the new site. I'm going to turn it over to Jose now and let him take you through his section of the demonstration. Jose?
Thank you, Beth. Well, good morning, everyone. As Beth mentioned, my name is Jose Ronquillo, and I'm here on behalf of Pentegra to speak to you today about the new Pentegra participant portal. So as we begin, you want to remember that we're going to start off heading directly to the Pentegra website. And before you actually log into the site, there's lots of good information directly on the homepage. First thing I wanted to mention is that we've been recently referenced in Plan Sponsor Magazine, so this is going to pop up and you're going to get the opportunity to read this lovely article here. But after you've read it, hop onto the site, and there's lots of great information on the website itself about who Pentegra is and some of our capabilities. All of the tabs have lots of good information in terms of us in the news. Our expertise has lots of great information in terms of areas that we excel in, like regulatory information and retirement education as well. One of the areas that I always love to reference are the building blocks along with the video and webcast section. There's lots of good pre-recorded content on here that you can definitely take advantage of, both for yourself and your plan participants as well. But when you're ready to log in, you're going to click login on the top right-hand side. So this process is still the same process of getting onto the website initially. And you're going to go ahead and head to the Pentegra portal for participants. Your current password and username are going to be carrying forward. So you'll still use that same information. But for those individuals that have never been on the website, your initial user ID is your social and your password is your 8-digit date of birth. And then you'll be able to log right onto the website with that information there. Now, when you arrive on the landing homepage, here's where you'll find all of your announcements. So this is actually a live link, and this is going to take us to the participant notification that was received. And as Beth mentioned, there are some resources that are actually embedded into this handout as well. So first, this link here will take us to the quick guide or quick reference guide for the website that's available out here. And this demo is a pre-recorded walkthrough of the website that's available to everyone as well. But when you're ready to continue, you're going to hit access your account. And when you log in, you're going to see your account balance. You'll see your total invested balance. You see the differences here. This Your Future tool is actually the Retirement Income Optimizer, and I'll allow Ricardo to cover that information. On this landing page, you'll see your year-to-date savings, your savings rate, your year-to-date rate of return, all directly on the homepage. And all of these links are interactive. You can click on them, and it's going to bring you additional information. On the bottom, we've got your portfolio. And one of the interesting things that I realized is that you can actually highlight each individual fund here, and it'll show you the percentage, and this information will shift on the left-hand side here. On the right-hand side, under the What's New area, here you're going to find your recent activity. So employee contributions, employer contributions, loan contributions, loan payments, transactions are all going to be out here. You can click view all activity and you'll be able to see that information with more detail here and change your date ranges up, and you'll be able to gain access to that information there as well. But now let's go back to the home area under your account. And on the top right-hand side, before we cover the bottom tabs and the sub-tabs over here, we actually want to start off with this gear icon. It seems a little unsuspecting here, but we're going to click up top, and this is where you're going to find your beneficiary designation, your profile information. You'll be able to change your password, secret questions, login IDs, and let's click on each of these to show you what they're going to look like and how to use them going forward. So if your plan allows for beneficiary designation online, you'll be able to add, update, and edit your beneficiary designations right under this section here. Your profile information, that's going to be all of your pertinent information. You want to make sure that your email address is always up to date, because that's always going to be our primary method of contact with you. And here you'll designate if you'd like your statements and disclosures either emailed, which is the default method, or paper delivery. You can change your password. The reason I'm actually bringing this up here is because of the fact that if you were to change your password, and there was a security update tail end of last year where you had to update your password, and we had to add one of these special characters. So you have to have an alphanumeric password between the ranges of 8 to 20 characters, and you'd have to use one of these special characters as well. If you want to use a special character outside of these, it wouldn't accept it. So it's important to just realize that there. You can always update this at any time as well. Security questions, if you were to forget that password or forget your user ID, you can always come in here and make those updates to the security questions. Your login ID is just that, your login ID. And that, as we all know, can no longer be the social security number. So you want to make sure you created a good login ID there, and you can always update that at any time. And if you're still having any issues, but you're already in the site, you can always reach out to us at pentegra.com, that 866-633-4015 number, or use the questions and comments section below to have an email sent. Now let's come back to the home page and let's look at some of the fun things that are out here on this portion of the website. As I mentioned before, the Your Portfolio area on the bottom, you can actually click on this and it's going to come up and it's going to bring in the breakdown of your individual holdings. So these are your physical funds and how they break down percentage-wise, and the actual dollar amount in each individual fund is listed here. You can make changes here or under the Manage tab, and I'll let Ricardo cover that Manage tab. That same thought process applies to the investment allocation. And in this area here, this is going to be future contributions. So every new dollar going forward is going to be listed here. You know, every new dollar coming in would be, in this scenario, would be going 50-50. If you wanted to make changes here, investment instruction will allow you to make those changes, but I'll let Ricardo jump into more detail there. And the Video and Learning Center is also on the homepage. Lots of good information that are small videos that are set up in a scenario to help you secure your financial well-being, the benefits of starting early. There's some catch-up strategies, all different strategies that are out there and available to you through these small recorded videos here. They're nice and fun to look at. Now let's go into the Home tab, and we'll begin with the sub-tabs. We'll start off with the Performance and Statements tab. And here you're going to find your Statements on Demand. One of the questions that has already been coming up a lot is, where do I find my period balances? So this is a updated version of the period balances that you'd have access to now. Remember, you can change your date range around over here. You hit Generate, and it will create your period balances for you as you saw before, but with a little more detail. And once again, still downloadable in an Excel format or a PDF format, all right here on this portion of the site. Let's come back to Performance and Statements. Now you'll also have, your statements or disclosures are going to be out here as well, so you'll have all that information still out here. Now let's go to the Personal Performance tab. This is, since I'm an education consultant, I have to say this is my second favorite portion of the website. Obviously, my favorite portion of the website is going to be this Learn tab, which I'll let Ricardo cover. But this area here, you're going to see how you're doing specifically. So as we're looking at this account here, the bottom black line is our contributions, top blue line is our account value. Since we've got green, we've got growth. You can pick and choose amongst all of your different funds and see how they're doing specifically. And when you scroll down, you have even more detail. So this is one of those areas that you'd be able to have access to. You currently have access to it under the My Performance caveat, but now it's going to be, your personal performance area. When you come up here, set filters and periods, you can choose different asset types. You can choose individual funds. You have all that flexibility there. It's a very robust tool. Definitely take advantage of it. Now let's come back to the home tab, and then forms and statements is the last area that I wanted to cover before I turn it over to Ricardo. Here's where you're going to find all of your forms and important documents out here in terms of needing to make changes or rolling over funds from prior IRAs and things of that nature. That'll all be under that section of the website. Another important thing to reference before I turn it over to Ricardo is the fact that on the right-hand side, this What's New tab, we mentioned that you'll have notifications out here, messages, all of these things are going to be out there. And the site itself is device responsive. So one of the things that has happened before, I guess, if you were to shrink it down, our tabs, instead of being across the bottom, they're going to be this drop down here, and you'll still have access to all of that same information. And this actually applies to your mobile devices as well. So you'll have that functionality there as well. But I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Ricardo, and I'll let you take over from there.
Thank you very much, Jose. That was great. So I'll pick up where you left off. Let's go to Manage My Account tab. And then underneath, we'll find a couple of sub-tabs there that we want to discuss. So when participants want to make changes in the account, because let's face it, when you go into the account, most of you want, or most of us and participants want to just look at our balance, look at our rate of return, then close it. But what if we want to make changes? Well, that would be on the Manage tab. We'll start with our portfolio, so our investments, how our investments are, how our money is going to be invested right now. So when I click on Manage My Portfolio, it gives me the opportunity to rebalance on demand my portfolio, set it to automatically rebalance, or make a one-time transfer. So let's start with that portfolio rebalance tab there, or option or tool. What it will do is it'll show you all the investment options available under the plan, what you're currently doing, in little boxes, and next to each where you could put your new alignment or how you want to rebalance the account. The other thing that you can do is if you don't want to do it on demand, you can set it to automatically rebalance your account on a monthly, quarterly, or semi-annual or yearly basis. So it'll show you a bunch of different options, and at the end, it'll show you a participant's choice. And the participant's choice, you can set the account. Here it goes. To go monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, etc. Once you elect this, it'll be set and rebalance according to how you designated. You can cancel this at any time. Last but not least, what if I want to transfer money from one investment to another? That's going to be located in Investment Transfer. So you would just click on that. It'll list for the participant all the investment options allowed for the plan. If your plan has any portfolio models, it will be listed there as well. And you can choose to make the transfers dollar for dollar, dollar to percent, or percent to percent, and it will have a transfer from and a transfer to column. Just make sure everything's even out, and then you press transfer, and the transfer will be complete. So that takes care of the current money that's in the plan. So what happens with my future contributions? Well, I can choose for them to keep the way they are, or I can have them mimic the transfer that I just made. So you can just click on Manage Contributions, then Future Contributions, and again, it'll list all the investment options allowed under the plan, what I'm currently doing, and a list of boxes where it says my new percentage. Now I pick my investment lineup and must total up to 100. I submit, and from now on, any contribution received into the plan is going to go to that new lineup. Now, one of the things that makes a plan be successful, everyone thinks of the investment options, but it's mostly the contributions that we make into the plan. So how do I manage how much I'm contributing into it? You're going to manage contributions, and then depending on how your plan is set up, if you allow for percentages and dollar amounts, you will see the screen. I'm usually a fan of percentage because if I set it and forget it, I get pay increases, my contribution will increase as well. If I set it as a dollar amount, it'll stay stagnant there. So the next screen will show me my different options of contributions. If your plan has Roth, after-tax, pre-tax, depending on what it has, you'll see those money sources there and what I can toggle. So now this person is doing 5% pre-tax. Now I want to try out the Roth feature. So I just want to do 1% extra. So I just click it there. if your plan is set up with the automatic savings increase feature, your participants will see that information there as well. So if they want to take full advantage of it, they can just click on the box and then just say, hey, I wanted to increase my contribution X number of percent. For this example is 1% each year until it reaches 10%. Much like your auto rebalance feature, you can cancel this at any time, but it's a good way of just, again, set it and forget it is my thing with retirement plans. And it's a good way of just picking your percentage and then every year increasing it a little bit just to catch up and be retirement ready. So once you press, it's a little bit stuck here. Let me see what's going on. There we go. So the other tab that we have under Manage is the Withdraw tab. So if your plan does offer for loans, a participant can review their current loan if they have one. So if you click on this link, it'll show them the account information of the loan that they have out. If they want to process a loan, also under the Manage Withdraw sub-tab, you would click on Loan Modeling, and it'll give the participant the information they need. They can just choose how much they want to take out. It'll give them the exact amount of maximum that they can take out and the minimum and the terms. And after that, I can model the loan and it'll tell me how much it's going to be per pay period, how long it's going to take, what interest rate I'm going to pay, etc. So next tab will be the View tab. I get a lot of questions when I'm doing, and Jose, I bet, does too. Where can I view all the investment information? I mean, performance, but also just dig deeper into the fund. What is it made out of? What companies are in it? Or what securities are in it? So all that information will be under the View Fund Performance tab. So this will list all the investment options allowed under the plan. And over here, you can output or export this information into a PDF or an Excel sheet. You can also download the investments fact sheet or a prospectus if one is available. So all that information will be housed there. If your plan is set up with a self-directed brokerage account under the View tab, this is a demo, so it doesn't have it active. But if they have a self-directed brokerage account, another link that will be under the View tab will be the link to establish that. This will be for participants that want to go outside of what the fund options are, or the plan's fund options are. Like Jose said, we are in education, so the Learn tab is where we feel most comfortable at and what we like the most, because it gives us a lot of great information. Particularly the Learn and Advice tab, when people ask, hey, I need some advice, where can I put my money? Do you have a tool that can help me figure out how to diversify, how much will I need, etc.? We do have that. So you click on Learn on Advice, then Mastery Point Guidance. I have it pulled up here so it doesn't take long. And then it will bring you to the Advice or Guidance Plus tool. So it's an external link, so it will open in a new tab. So once there, you click on Develop a More Personalized Strategy. It timed out, but you start inputting all your information, and at the end, it will give the participant an output of, judging by how they answer the questions, this is the suggestion of lineup that they can adopt. So they can choose to adopt it or just use that information for their informational purposes. Other things that we have in the Learn tab is the Financial Resource Center, just to figure out a lot of different information about the plan, and not only about the 401k, but also other things. I usually just pick my age group, 30 to 50 here, you and your money, and there's a barrage of different calculators and tools. One of my favorite one being the Retirement Savings Calculator, where you can input certain variables or fill out certain questions, and at the end, it'll tell you if you continue putting this much in the account, this is how much you'll have. And then the participant can decide, is that going to be enough? Maybe I need to be making some changes. Other things that it has there are calculators for credit cards, college, mortgage, things like that. So it's really helpful to go to the Financial Resource Center. Building blocks, like Jose said, when you enter or go into the Pentegra.com website, on the top tabs there, you can find the building blocks, but if you forget where they were, they're also under the Learn tab. So you click on that, and it'll bring up the different topics, and there's our fearless leader, Rich, again. and retirement planning essentials, distribution planning. So a lot of articles just going more into those particular topics. Last but not least, the electronic enrollment book. This is not just for new enrollees. This is a great way to just learn a little bit more about the plan. So once you click on that link, it'll have the enrollment book. So they have the enrollment book per se has a lot of education information. It also has the plan highlights, which when you pull the plan highlights, it'll pull up a document that says all the main things that participants want to know. When can I participate? When do I come in? How does the bank or financial institution or employer participate or contribute to the plan? What's the vesting schedule? So all those questions are going to be asked by just downloading that plan highlights. Other resources, it'll take you to the Financial Resource Center, or if they want to print out of all the funds and their year, the performance, they can go to the select the investment information and it'll print that out. Just right here. Last but not least, saving the best for last and just being respectful of your time. We go back to home, your account, that's where Jose was talking about your future tab and retirement income optimizer. I usually get questions, and I know Jose does too, when we do a meeting saying, yeah, everything's great, but if I do 1%, what good is that going to make for my future? How much extra will I have when I retire? So this tool totally answers that question. So I click on if everything will be enough. Now, the system will get the most current salary information that you as the employer has submitted to us. But if you haven't done that for a while, don't worry, because the participant will be able to update it if the information is incorrect. It'll also ask them to input their payment frequency. So let's say it's semi-monthly. So answering just those two questions on the next screen, they got a lot of great useful information. Their current plan balance is pulled right in, and then it says the projected retirement account balance, and then it says that if you continue doing what you're doing, your monthly projected retirement income benefit will be $244 a month. Now that may seem low because I'm pretending that I'm this participant, and this is not my first 401k. I have other assets in other plans, and I've done a really good job saving, so I got $400 grand somewhere else. So with this, I can put that other retirement account balance there, and it changes all the numbers. I can also input spouse's information. Now you'll see here on the right hand of the screen, you're probably wondering where did they get these numbers? You can click down here, and it'll give you the assumptions that we use, that the tool uses. And then these three little units here just are showing you what a difference a 1%, 2%, and 3% change will make in my overall income, monthly income at retirement. So the participant can go and say, okay, I kind of like this number and I'm okay with doing an extra 2% contribution. I press select. Congratulations. Press accept. If your plan is set up for online contribution changes, that will, once they press accept, will generate a notification to payroll to increase their contributions once they're allowed. If they're not, the next screen will ask them, it'll be looking kind of like this, to enter their email and phone number information, and we'll send them a printout of all the information that they got so they can just submit it to payroll if they want to. So it's a great tool, and I'm really excited to be demoing it or using it in my retirement plan meetings, especially, and I'm sure Jose is too, especially when people ask that kind of question. I'm like, where am I going to be? How much of it's an extra 1 or 2, 3%? And that's a little call to action, because like I mentioned before, the greatest thing you can do to optimize your retirement account is increase your contributions. With that, I think I covered a lot of different information here. Let's open it up for questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Jose and Ricardo, for giving us that demonstration. We do have some questions coming in, so let me just, I'll give this one to you, Ricardo. Start you off. Can you show us, again, where to change or how to change my password and user ID?
Yes, I can. So I would go to this gear on the top right-hand corner of your screen, and that's where you would say, you can change your beneficiaries there. You can change your password. You can change your login ID, or you can change your secret question and answer. So that's where you would go to make all those different changes.
Great. Also, I'm just going to let you keep going, Ricardo, because you have control of the screen at the moment.
Okay.
Where can you find the period balances?
Well, like Jose did the demonstration when he was doing it here. There's a part of the website here where this is now called Statement on Demand. It's a new feature, but it kind of acts like the period balances that we had. The period balances that we had before. So you would go to Home, Performance and Statements, and then Statement on Demand. That's where you would put the date ranges, much like period balances was before, of what what information you're trying to look at. Let's say the January 4th to January 21st. Press create, and it'll give me that type of information.
All right. Then we have a couple of questions about the same topic. Can you show us? This is probably the biggest question we're getting at the moment. Show us where to change the deferral rate.
Yep. There's actually two ways of doing it. Like Jose said when we were starting the seminar here, that you can go to you can click here on savings rate, and it'll take you to that screen, contribution rate amount. And then, like I mentioned before, if your plan allows for both percent and dollar, it'll show you this screen. But if it's only percent, you go to it'll go to this next screen that we have here. The other way of getting there is under manage contributions, and it'll take you to that contribution rate amount screen as well.
Very good.
Those are two ways of getting.
Okay, great. I just want to remind everybody to download the resources now before we end the webinar. You'll also get an email tomorrow with the link to the replay. Again, it'd be great for you to show your participants the demo, or give them the resources so they're able to watch the demo themselves. Ricardo and Jose, thanks so much for doing the demonstration for us today. And Maureen, thanks for getting the website up and going.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. A few minutes back in your day. Have a good day.